It is great to have you with us here on a Wednesday night, and we begin tonight with that. Warn you again, it is disturbing. Today, lawmakers pointed to this photo on Capitol Hill, saying this is the effect of a lack of policy on immigration. That father, his young daughter, just shy of 2. And President Trump tonight being asked what he makes of that photo. This evening, the president's response, as several Democratic candidates now make this a central issue. ABC's chief national correspondent, Matt Gutman, who just got inside a Texas facility that's under heavy scrutiny, leading us off.
Tonight, as this photo grips a nation, Valeria's little arm resting on her father's neck, their bodies sharing a shirt, face down in the shallows. We're now learning what happened the day before. ABC News learning the father, Oscar Ramirez, tried to claim asylum and enter legally at a Brownsville port of entry, but he was reportedly turned away. So he then turned to the Rio Grande. But instead of carrying them into the U.S., the river's currents carried them off. Valeria was just shy of her second birthday. Her grandmother, clutching this stuffed animal, says this is her favorite doll. Today, President Trump was asked what he made of that photo.
I hate it, and I know it could stop immediately if the Democrats change the law. They have to change the laws. The Democrats refuse to change the loopholes. They refuse to change the asylum. In 1 hour, we could have it done. They want to have open borders, and open borders mean crime, and open borders mean people drowning in the rivers, and it's a very dangerous thing.
But Democrats say it's the president's fault.
The president's actions at the border are a whirlwind of incompetence, leading to pictures like this.
The issue front and center in the race for 2020. Elizabeth Warren ahead of tonight's first Democratic debate, making a trip to a children's migrant center outside of Miami, describing what she saw.
These were children who were being marched like little soldiers, from one place to another.
Warren declaring this.
These children pose no threat to people here in the United States of America.
About 14,000 unaccompanied migrant children are currently held in facilities across the country. And today, ABC News was invited inside the Clint Border Patrol station, where children were allegedly left filthy and hungry.
This is my 4th time going into one of these detention facilities, and each time we've been prevented from bringing cameras in to show what's really going on inside.
Matt Gutman with us live tonight. Matt, the president blaming Democrats saying he caused this. The House passing a spending bill more than $4 billion. Today we know news in the Senate, and you pointed out there are no cameras as you went in. So what do we know from the Senate, and what did you see once inside?
The Senate passed its own bill today, David, and earlier today, House Speaker Pelosi and President Trump spent about 15 minutes on the phone trying to find a way to reconcile between the House and Senate bills in a way that would satisfy everyone. Now, having just come out of that facility that was likened to a torture facility, what we saw was basically a jail situation with open cell doors, kids on cots. There were toothbrushes, there was soap, there was adequate food, but obviously that spending bill is meant to alleviate the massive pressure that can occur here. The capacity at this facility is about 100. It reached 700 just a few weeks ago, David.
Matt Gutman leading us off tonight. Matt, thank you. Our Mary Bruce is in Miami tonight, where Democrats are debating for the first time, 20 of them. So let's get right to Mary tonight, because Mary, you saw Elizabeth Warren on the day of this debate going to another center housing migrant children. Other candidates now following suit.
Yeah, David, well, we did see Elizabeth Warren out there shining a spotlight on the immigration debate as she gets ready to take center stage here later tonight. And now other candidates are following her lead. Amy Klobuchar was also out there today. And over the next 2 days, we're going to see a steady stream of candidates dropping by, including Bernie Sanders.
And Mary, I mentioned this a moment ago, but I wanted to show everyone at home tonight just how big this Democratic field is. 20 candidates facing off. And Mary, it's something we haven't seen before. In fact, they've had to make sort of alternate plans from what we usually see.
Yeah, David, over 2 nights, 10 candidates each night, all jockeying for attention. Tonight, Elizabeth Warren will be the one to watch. She has been rising in the polls, but tonight is also a chance for candidates like Cory Booker and Beto O'Rourke to try and break away from the pack. While tomorrow night, all eyes will be on Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders. And one other person who we know will be paying close attention, the president. He says he will be watching aboard Air Force One on his way to Japan. He says the debate seems, quote, very boring. It says he will be watching because he has to. David.
The president watching tonight. Mary, thank you. We are also following another developing headline as we're on the air tonight. A deadly shark attack taking the life of an American woman who was on vacation. It's believed she was killed while snorkeling in the Bahamas. Here's ABC's Gio Benitez.
Tonight, reports out of the Bahamas of a deadly shark attack just after 2 p.m. in the water off Rose Island. An American woman was reportedly attacked and killed.
Oh my God.
It comes amid heightened concern up and down the East Coast. On the Jersey Shore Monday, these fishermen came face to face with an adult great white. Here, you can clearly see its powerful teeth. 3 great white sightings off Cape Cod, one near Wellfleet. Last week, an 8-year-old boy was bitten near Bald Head Island off North Carolina, one of 3 attacks in just the last 2 weeks.
Of course, heightened concern here in the U.S. up and down the East Coast. And Gio, I know we're learning more details about this deadly shark attack off the Bahamas. It's believed she was snorkeling.
Yeah, that's right, David. That's what authorities are saying right now. While snorkeling, that's when this attack apparently happened. We don't know if it was one or more sharks right now, but they tried to save her. They just couldn't. This investigation is ongoing, David.
Gio Benitez tonight. Thank you, Gio. A major new headline after the massacre in Parkland, Florida tonight. 2 more sheriff deputies have now been fired for neglect of duty. The sheriff says it cost the lives of 17 people that day. A total of 4 officers now let go because of what they did not do that day. And tonight here, the police body cam and what it shows. ABC's Victor Akendo is in Florida tonight.
The Broward Sheriff's Office says Deputy Josh Stambaugh's own body cam video seen here shows neglect of duty. While the shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas was unfolding, he's shown putting on his bulletproof vest, then taking cover for 5 minutes as shots ring out. Prosecutors say instead of confronting the gunman, he got back in his truck and drove to a nearby highway. Tonight, Deputy Stambaugh is out of a job, along with Deputy Edward Eason, who the department says ran away from the gunfire.
It became clear to me and our command staff that this was neglect of duty.
The 124-page internal affairs report released 17 months after 17 students and staff were murdered on Valentine's Day. 4 deputies have now been fired since the shooting, including school resource officer Scott Peterson.
At this time, I will call Scott Peterson.
Peterson was arrested earlier this month and charged with child neglect, culpable negligence, and perjury after a state investigation found he did absolutely nothing to mitigate the carnage that day.
And Victor Akendo with us live tonight from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. And Victor, the union for these deputies says it will fight their firing.
That's right, David. Union representatives for those fired deputies say they're going to fight their termination. Peterson's attorney says that he is being made a scapegoat. David?
Victor Akendo with us again tonight. Now to the case of the missing mother of 5 gaining national attention. And this evening, what her estranged husband suddenly declared outside court today. Here's ABC's Eva Pilgrim.
Tonight, the estranged husband of missing Connecticut mom Jennifer Doulos, who continues to fight for custody of the couple's 5 children, speaking for the first time.
I just want to tell my children that they're constantly on my mind and that I love them and I miss them very much.
And a shocking new theory from his attorney.
We are actively contemplating a revenge suicide hypothesis as an explanation for her disappearance.
Fotis Doulos' lawyer is now claiming that Jennifer, an accomplished writer, worked on a manuscript similar to the bestseller Gone Girl, where a woman fakes her own death in order to frame her husband. A friend of Jennifer's firing back.
This is not a woman who would ever leave her children.
The couple was locked in a bitter custody battle and divorce when Jennifer disappeared May 24th. Authorities say they discovered bloodstains in her garage and think she was the victim of a serious physical assault. Earlier this month, Fotis Doulos and his live-in girlfriend Michelle Troconis were charged with evidence tampering and hindering prosecution in connection with Jennifer's disappearance.
Do you know where she is?
Both have pleaded not guilty and are out on bail. David, the children remain in the custody of Jennifer's family. Fotis Doulos is not allowed to contact them at this time. David?
Now to the major headline tonight about the USC sex assault scandal. Police today arresting Dr. George Tyndall in Los Angeles. Hundreds of patients accusing the school's former gynecologist of sexual assault between 2009 and 2016. He's facing charges related to 16 patients. Tyndall denies the allegations. Now to the pictures coming in tonight, the kidnapping scare in Atlanta. Police say a woman trying to kidnap 2 children at Hartsfield-Jackson Airport. Here's ABC's David Curley.
Even before going through security for a trip to Disney World, this family fends off an alleged kidnapping. This is surveillance video at Atlanta's airport as a 26-year-old woman approaches the family, tries to grab one child, and when that doesn't work, a second child. Watch closely. You can see the woman try to grab the stroller. But when the mother fights her off, the suspect moves to the second child when the father steps in. Moments later, police officers arrive, and it took some time for 3 officers to subdue the Kansas woman. Police talked to our station in Atlanta, WSB.
It was before they even had to go through security or anything, so all that was open to the public.
Once the suspect was taken into custody, police charging her with kidnapping and obstructing an officer. After the Saturday incident, the officer who interviewed the suspect said she blurted out several statements that made that officer think she was in some kind of mental distress. David?
All right, David, thank you. When we to the index of other news tonight, an actor, Cuba Gooding Jr., was in court here in New York City today. Gooding accused of groping a woman in a bar today, asking the judge to dismiss the charges. His attorney claims the full surveillance video obtained by TMZ will clear Gooding. The actor says he's confident the charges will be dropped. The judge's decision is expected in August. There's also news tonight about that toddler struck by a foul ball in Houston. The 2-year-old girl hit by a line drive at the Astros game last month. The family revealing that she is receiving treatment for a fractured skull and for seizures. They were sitting just beyond the protective netting. The family has hired a lawyer. And another scare involving a toddler in the backyard pool. It took only seconds. A toddler sneaking around the pool gate and then falling into the pool. His father can be seen diving over the 4-foot barrier to save his son. That dad is reminding parents tonight it can happen so quickly, and that his family is proof. Erica Strong, our parent company Disney is marking foster care awareness, and tonight the man on a mission to give foster children a chance at college after he was given a chance so many years ago. Here's Deborah Roberts.
We're excited. We're about to do a reveal. In foster homes across America tonight, hello, lives are changing.
You're going to college, young lady.
At schools, too.
You're all getting the scholarship.
Free college tuition, room and board from the nonprofit called Give Something Back.
Oh, God.
Founder Bob Carr came up with the idea years ago. He was awarded a small college scholarship, which changed his life. Carr vowed to do the same for others. A successful entrepreneur, he's done so in a big way, some $50 million.
It's kind of like that old Bible lesson about teaching a man to fish, isn't it?
Absolutely. That's exactly what it is.
You give them something and they can pass it on.
We give them the route to education.
Less than 3% of foster kids go to college. Carr's determined to change that.
They're kind of invisible kids in a way.
They are invisible to most of society, but that needs to change, and it can change.
We're with Bob when he offers fresh hope to these New Jersey high schoolers.
You're going to actually say I'm going to college? How many of you will be starting a new tradition in your family, going to college?
Tyrone Harmon's the 1,000th recipient.
The idea that you don't have to worry about your tuition.
It's just a blessing. It really is.
And for Haley Revac.
I want to change. I don't want people to have to grow up the way I did, always being worried, like, where am I going to go next? And I just want to, have a happy life. So this is just the beginning.
Does this take a big load off?
Yes. I'm relieved.
Relieved because of that gift, that vow. Bob Carr, America Strong.
Our thanks to Deborah, Bob Carr, and his generosity, and to help get the word out, helping foster children, use the hashtag DonateYourSmallTalk. They need us.